Well, here we are. Hello everyone. Just checking everything's live. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I can see stuff coming through. That's good. Welcome in to a very nice Saturday evening. It's been showering and raining alternately all day, and it's turned out a really nice evening, really bright, quite warm actually. And so what's on the menu today? I've been finally pushing out a video I've been working on for about a month. I hope you've gone out and checked that out over at the YouTube channel. And sort of to commemorate that, we're going to do something from this book, Essentially Marco. Essentially Marco, a copy I managed to get this week. It is signed, as you can see. I bought it second hand. It wasn't a sort of managed to track him down, go to the Cotswolds. No, so I got hold of this. I've been after it for a while. It's very difficult to find. It's only from 2016. It's not old, but it's been really challenging to get hold of. So I managed to find it at a decent price-ish. And I wanted to do something out of it tonight. And as it's a nice day, nice afternoon, I thought we'll have a dessert for a change. Usually we're making savoury things, so let's do something a bit sweeter and actually quite straightforward. And let me show you a bit closer here. In fact, I've got a new thing to try out. Oh yes, I've had a wibble around with some of my stuff. We're going to do Sherry Trifle Wally Ladd. Wally Ladd is the name of a chef he knew at the Connaught. That's a posh hotel in London, and it's quite a straightforward. If for viewers outside the UK who might not know what a trifle is, it's a layered dessert. The picture kind of gives that away. So it's a layered dessert where you have usually cream, usually custard, sometimes jelly, all these sorts of nice sweet things layered up. A bit like a sundae, but there's not usually ice cream involved. But trifle is just one of those words that covers a whole range of different types of desserts. If you've watched my video from earlier today, then you'll know I've already talked about this book and how one of the recurring themes throughout Marco's books are the lack of unique recipes. You can go across the books and see the recipes, same recipes featured over and over again. And that's true of this one as well. This is available in other books, but it just looked nice. So I felt like doing it. There's not too many stages in there. I don't know how well you can read it, but there's not many ingredients. I've got almost all of them out, and we're just going to plough through it. There's a couple of things we need to heat up and let cool, because it is a dessert you have cold. Again, those of you outside the UK, you might best know this, trifle that is, from an episode of Friends where I think Rachel makes a trifle and it's got beef mince in it. That isn't usually how we do things, no. Though I'm sure it's been done on somewhere on YouTube. So this is going to be a few ingredients layered up in some nice dishes, so we'll sort those out. But there are some things, as I said, that are warm that I need to get started to cool down. I'm going to make half the amount needed here, so I'm going to obviously half the recipe. Just get a few bowls out. As usual with desserts, you'll need bowls at some point. Right, first of all, some jam. We're going to use a black cherry jam. And Marco recommends Tiptree black cherry jam. If you were with me last week on the live stream, let's turn that off for a sec. If you were with me last week on the live stream, we talked about how, making a mess, Maldon salt, that salt over there in that pig, is made sort of just up the road from me. Well, Tiptree jam, most of you will have seen that very plain black and white label, Wilkin and Sons Tiptree jam, is made just a few miles away from Maldon salts. These two great behemoths in food, Tiptree jam and Maldon salt, are both really near each other geographically. It's kind of funny that both these brands, you can go to hotels all over the world and you'll see Tiptree jam in those tiny little pots on the table. So we're going to start by mixing jam with booze until it's thick. So just going to get the jam out. Again, using a black cherry jam. The thing is with trifle, it's incredibly flexible. You can do whatever you want with it. Just get some booze. Marco calls for sherry, but it's not something I really keep in the house. And if I did, I'd just have it for this recipe and then never use it again. I'm using, I need to bring this closer, this isn't working at all. I'm using Marsala, an Italian sweet wine, which is not quite the same, but I like it. Where's my mouse gone? Just checking everything's ticking along. Good, good, good. Excellent, okay. So we're, wake that up, there we go. Just adding some Marsala to that, not a lot. And then going to simmer it just till it's a bit thickened. Slump Cat, you have a beautiful kitchen. Thank you very much, Slump Cat. I'm very proud of it. I love my kitchen. Just get that on. Get a plate to rest it on. So that's something back there that I'm just simmering on the hob on the stove there. It's just going to thicken up and make some sort of reduced paste, I guess. Yes, thank you for the messages on the kitchen. Very nice. I love my kitchen. Had it built 4 years ago. Exactly the way I want it, and that's exactly what I've got. I'm very, very pleased with it. Jeb44, love a good jam. Got a particular flavour you like, Jeb? I do like a black cherry jam. I knew I had it in the cupboard when I saw this recipe, so I thought, I don't even have to go shopping because I often have a black cherry jam about. Just going to give this a stir. I'm not going to put the camera on it, it's just literally jam in a pan, just simmering down. I've got other stuff I can be getting on with here. There's something else warm I need to do here. So I need to now make a custard, and Marco specifically calls for this ingredient, which is bird's custard. Now again, if you're outside of this is a powder. It's weird, luminous powder. If you're outside the UK, well, you might not be familiar with custard first of all, which is crème anglaise, it's also known as, which is a sauce of egg yolks and milk and sugar thickened. In the post-war period, throughout the 70s, bird's custard was the most famous variety you could get, and it's a household name. Marco being a fan, just someone letting the cat out. Marco being a huge fan of the 70s and everything therein, wants to always use these sorts of brands that he's in love with. Fig is good. Have I had fig? I've had it in like biscuits. You can get pastries, can't you, with fig in, fig jam. Slump Cat gets partridge berry jam. I've never heard of that. It almost sounds made up. I've never heard of a partridge berry. Just thinking now, what would have been really nice in there is some Kahlua, the coffee liqueur. I think that would have been really nice with this. And huckleberry jam. No. No, again, not super easy to find. They only grow in certain locations, don't they, huckleberries? Anyway, let's get on with our custard. How much am I going to need here? Got to remember to halve everything. It's the sort of thing when you're talking to a camera and talking to other people that you'll forget you're halving everything as you go. So let's not forget to do that, eh? It's written in a typically confusing Marco way as well. do this but only add half of it. Okay, definitely going to forget that. Right, to make the custard, add half the milk to 400 ml. So that's going to be 200 ml of the milk, 200 ml of milk, wow, that's a really odd way to do it. I have read this through, but not really. Like not in detail, just to make sure it didn't say and leave in the fridge overnight. But this is the kind of dessert, by the way, you could absolutely leave to set in the fridge and cover it over, have it. Usually, in fact, if I can get this without breaking everything, some of you eagle-eyed may notice I keep this jar container on my counter. It pops up in all videos. It is a trifle dish, so you would layer up your trifle, huge one you can serve out for your guests. I'm going to make little individual ones today. Not so little. I'll get those out in a minute. We've got much berry discussion going on. Partridge berries are very tart, like a cranberry on steroids. I love a cranberry. Ganja Time says, quit jamming up the chats. Well done. Well done, sir. Right, some vanilla. Actually, it says to use real vanilla, but I very rarely have any in. I quite like this paste product. Good stuff. Just dropping some vanilla in there. I think usual lack of specific instruction from Marco there. A slow simmer. Well, that's not a slow simmer, so let's calm that right down. Remember what I'm doing. So I've got milk and vanilla in here, bringing to the boil. Something else that's going over the back here. And then furthermore in cold milk. Jesus, Marco. 50 ml of cold milk. Oops. Skied that one, but I'm pretty sure we'll be okay. We're then going to add some sugar. It's going to be quite sweet if we're adding sugar to this. Then we're adding custard powder. How much custard powder do you want? 30 grams. Not a lot. A little bit more. That's us there. So yeah, if you've not seen custard powder before, I don't imagine it travels particularly well around the world. It was one of those post-war ingredients that we had a lot of in the UK, and therefore there's a whole generation grew up with custard powder, which is literally what it is. It's reconstituted, or dehydrated, sorry, custard that you rehydrate. It is used in a number of desserts. It has properties that are quite useful in ice cream making as well, because it's got egg in it. He says that. Does it have egg in it? It does not have egg in it. So considering this is custard, it's got maize starch, cornstarch, salt, colour and flavouring. No egg in it at all. Weird little product. You can see how luminous it is. It looks like beaten egg yolks, right? When egg yolks go all foamy. Cornelius says MPW is a certified madman and we've got to watch him. He is. He is a character, that's for sure. Obviously we don't see very much of him these days. It just comes out of the occasional brand deal. I think the latest videos we've seen him knocking about with his son, trying to promote his restaurant in Thailand. Okay. So how does that taste? Mostly sweet. Reminder, that was my jam that's been simmering with marsala. Milk's now come to the boil. So this is one of those dishes where I've got a few jobs to do and then suddenly it calms down. So all these little jobs I'm doing right now, they're all the crazy ones. And then life will just calm down. Can I pour all of that in there? I think just about. But I don't like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer it to this bigger bowl. Told you I'd sort of read the recipe, but not quite. That's where you wouldn't make a mistake like that. Chat, what are we doing tonight? What else is going on? What have we been doing? I mean, for me it's 20 past 8 in the evening. Don't know where it is for you. Have you had dinner? Are you having dinner? Ganjam, a couple of years ago he was promoting some kind of fake meat company. Yes, I saw that. There's very little material about it. He's got a few interviews online, but I was hoping to get hold of some, maybe in a future project. And you're asking me to be careful of the book. Yes, it's on my mind. You know, some people say they like it when their cookbook is splattered and got splashes of whatever they've been cooking in it. I can't stand that personally. It's just a me choice. If you want to do that, that's fine. I like my cookbooks pristine. I don't like writing on them. I'll get a post-it, little sticky note, and I'll put it on there. Okay, I'm just going to return this to the heat for a minute. So a lot of bowls already, classic Marco. I've just got to whisk it for a minute or so. I didn't really set myself up for cooking over here. So let me turn that off for a second. You can at least see me. So I'm just going to whisk that. The heat is just going to thicken it up. I'll show you in a minute. I can't be bothered to move the camera. It's just me whisking a pot. Don't worry about it. Slumpcat made mushroom fried rice and honey garlic meatballs. That sounds insane. That sounds brilliant. I'm not much of a cook. You could describe it well. I don't know how it tasted, but I'd eat it. Mushroom fried rice and honey garlic meatballs. Is that from a recipe or were you just winging it? Is that someone's recipe you're using? Sounds fantastic. Just a bit of whisking going on. What else have people been up to today? What have they done with their Saturday? Have you had to work? Have you been chilling out? DIY? Okay. So just for those of you over there, let's pop him on. In fact, let's do that. You can see how it's thickened up. It's actually a little bit lumpy, but continuous whisking as it cools is going to break that up. I'm not concerned about that. Let's pop him down there so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. You can see what's going on. You just wing it. Good for you, Slumpcat. Good for you. Look, you see how thick that is now. And as it cools, it's probably going to get even firmer. Just going to get right in the corners of that. Just pick up all the bits and bobs. So a reminder there, all we've got in there is cold milk, custard powder and vanilla. So we're sort of amping up the custardiness of the custard with custard powder. Might transfer these to other bowls to make even more washing up. But mainly because these need to cool down. So if I transfer them to another bowl, it will cool everything down quicker. Gas is still on, completely wasting money. Pumping it directly from the North Sea. Let's have a look. Yeah, so that's thick and yeah, tasty, good. Okay, now I'm going to get some sponge fingers on. Another strange ingredient, which again you might not be used to. Again, don't trifle with the trifle. Don't mess with the eaten mess. Exactly. I've got some sponge fingers here. They are like very hard biscuits, but they have a very light honeycomb texture. These are actually Savoiardi, Italian ladyfinger biscuits is what they're called. So I'm just going to soak these in a little booze. This is incredibly traditional in an English trifle, is to have some sponge biscuits, sponge fingers that are soaked. And again, if you've not seen these before, sponge fingers, they are hard, completely hard. Have a kind of loose texture. As soon as they touch liquid, they just absorb straight away. Right, let's just think about a dish that will fit nicely in. Pardon the clattering and banging. So I'm going mad explaining myself to everyone, but do we know what trifle is? Is that something we're familiar with, or am I over-explaining it? Am I mansplaining it indeed? I'm just aware it's very British. It's very British. And Marco is a British chef after all. Thank you all for joining me tonight, particularly if you're out there in Twitch land. Say hello, because I see a lot of people on YouTube, which is great, but I don't see a lot of people from Twitch land. If you're out there listening on Twitch, I'd love for you to say hello. So just pouring the rest of my Marsala wine over those, and that's just going to drink that up. And we'll come back to those for assembly. Cornelius, you want the rundown of trifle? I gave a quick intro at the start, but again, if you missed it, let's pop it on screen properly. Let's do that. So we're making this trifle. It's a very traditional looking trifle. Trifles are always a layered dessert, served cold. Almost always they've got some sponge element at the bottom. There's usually jam involved. There's often jelly, not in this case, custard, cream, maybe fruit. There's no such thing as this is a trifle recipe. It's one of those things where it kind of describes a type of dish, a kind of dish, really. Slump lives on the east coast of Canada, and truffles are very popular here as well. I wonder if that's to do with British expats coming into Canada. I wonder. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's a British dish though. Cameron McGill, what a fantastic name. Hello Big Spud, nice kitchen. Thank you very much, thank you very much. Welcome in, say hello. Right, we need to do some cream next. It's just whisking cream with sugar and vanilla, so we get a chantilly style cream. I'm just debating. So for those of you who just joined us already, I've prepared some jam, just reduced it down with some alcohol, and I've made some cheap, nasty instant custard, which is exactly what Marco wanted, by the way, exactly to Marco Pierre White's recipe. He does ask us to put it in a piping bag. But what about the jam? Yes, the custard goes in a piping bag, the cream goes in a piping bag. So, bear with me a moment, I'll get a piping bag. I don't use a piping bag very often. I've got a proper one, but I also use these disposable polythene ones sometimes. But I've just realised I think I only own one whisk, so I'm going to need to wash this whisk up so I can use it again. So, bear with me 1 second while I wash over at the sink. Now, if we were slump cat, we're all descendants of British settlers here for the most part, so a lot of our food is similar to traditional food across the pond. Well, happy Sunday roast, bangers and mash and all the rest of it to you, slump cat. Thanks for coming in. Lola Cake's good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Who's winning, gang? Well, I'm not eating yet, so I'm not winning yet. But let's catch you up. We're making a trifle. I've got custard, I've got jam, I've got sponge fingers. We're just going to make some cream now. Make cream. I have cream. I'm not making it. I don't have a cow out there. But I'm going to whisk up cream with sugar and vanilla to make what is technically called chantilly. But, you know, we ain't chefs here. 25 grams of sugar. There's lots of sweet things going on, so we don't need a lot of additional sweet things added. Just a fleck of vanilla in there, just to make it interesting. Let's do that now. So, usually, great, you can see that. Let's move some things out of the way. Usually, I would get the electric whisk out at this point and blitz it in seconds, but there's more room for things to go wrong if I do this by hand and take ages. So that makes for a fun stream, doesn't it? You also get to watch my arm wear out in real time. That's nice. Just checking the status of everything. It's all behaving itself. Everything says it's okay. Very good. While I'm whisking this, which is not, you know, top drawer exciting stuff to watch, I'm going to experiment with something. Every time I stream, as you may know if you've watched me or haven't, I haven't streamed that often. Every time I stream, I'm trying to do one more thing, you know, improve the quality of it. Whether it's adding more camera angles, fun stuff, bringing Twitch in, you know, I'm trying to do all sorts just to make it interesting. I've also added a mode for when I need to go on a quick break. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to press a button and it's going to play a little animation and a little bit of music. I am actually going to be here, but I just want to test it out for a few seconds. So I just want to try this out. So I'd love to hear on your end if this worked, because we're about to try it for real. So I'll see you in I'm just going to do this for like 10 seconds. I'll see you in a minute. Hi, Cornelius. I hope that worked. I'm assuming it did, and you weren't just saying neat that, you know, that's how you're having your vodka tonight. Again, it's just something I'm trying if, you know, I need to go off to the loo or if there's someone at the door, rather than you listen to that. You can have that. Put that wrist into it. You aren't wrong. I am lollygagging because I'm talking. You know, if I had guests round, they'd be tapping their watches right now, saying, "Where's dessert?" This is a Saturday night, isn't it? This is a Saturday night, watching a guy whisk some cream. That's living all right. Thank you both. The House of Oz slump cat, that it worked, yes. So, not planning on using that right this minute, but if I need to go off, that's something else. For those of you here right at the beginning, I also played a little bit of intro animation. And I've also got one for the end of the stream as well. Usually I just cut off, but I'm going to play out a little animation at the end, just again, make it look like I know what I'm doing. So we are quite a ways off, but we are getting somewhere. Sunday, well, of course, House of Oz. Of course it is Sunday morning at the House of Oz. Happy Sunday. What, like 6, 7 in the morning, something like that, House of Oz? Slumpcat was my Twitch channel name. That is BigSpud_. I couldn't get Big Spud. Just a guy there squatting on the account, not using it. So on Twitch, it's BigSpud_. It's exactly the same feed, but if you prefer watching on Twitch, watch it on Twitch. Is that the Daniel E? Hello, welcome in. How is New York today? Is that the new MP book you got there for £100? I didn't pay £100 for it. I was very careful not to admit how much I paid for it because I'm slightly embarrassed, but it wasn't 3 digits. I was looking for it at a reasonable price. I was just scouring eBay, you know, you set your watches. Nearly there. 5:30 AM, House of Oz. Crikey, why are you up so early watching a guy in England make cream? Why are you doing that? I really appreciate you having you around, but it kind of blows my mind. There's people just tuning in first thing in the morning. And you must be heading into winter or in the middle of winter where you are. I have relatives in New Zealand, which I know is not the same place, but you know, I get the whole time difference thing. Thickening up now. There we go. Lovely, lovely. Just quick peek around all the systems, make sure it's all behaving. Yep, good, good, good. Oh, we are close now. Again, really, I would do this in a machine. You know, get one of those electric whiskers out, blitz it all. Takes, you know, 30, 40 seconds. Oh, it's so close now. You're getting that point where suddenly it holds on the whisk. Oh, what was that noise? Was that a follow? Slumpcat, thank you for following over on Twitch. Little animation going again. Other little things I've been testing. I think I'm going to go a tiny bit more, and then that'll be it. Just make sure there's no loose bits at the bottom, because you want something that's going to be able to support the next layer above. I genuinely got a fine film of sweat on now from doing all that. Right. Let's switch it this way round now. Okay, so here's where I'm probably going to move the book out of the way because I always make a mess when I do this. And I'm going to get a glass. I saw that. Who said that? Who's got rights to the spoon? Well, indeed. I'm going to try and behave myself on camera. And not lick it. We're going to get a piping bag out, pop him on. Cato, hiya. Nice to see you. You were commenting on the video earlier. I'm saying Cato, like the animal. Is it Cato or Cato, as in like Pink Panther? Anyway, thanks for dropping by. Ooh. House of Ozzy wakes up early. It's freezing here in North Queensland, 13 degrees Celsius. So just like a normal spring day in the UK. Well, let's switch those over. I like it that way round. Again, I'm experimenting with the camera angles here. I'm going to move all this over so you can see what terrible stuff I'm up to. So I'm going to fill this piping bag. Let's extend that up a little bit. See what's going on. Something like that, that'll do. Like Pink Panther, so Kato. Very good, I will remember that, he said, and promptly forget next time I speak to you. But I hope I do. I hope you are well. Right, let's try and get this in the piping bag. I should have cut the end off afterwards. Again, it's one of those things when you're talking and cooking at the same time, you make silly mistakes. We've broken the back of it now. We've got all the components nearly. There's one little other silly thing I need to do. But we've broken the back of the recipe now. So imagine if you weren't talking to a camera at the same time, it'd actually be dead easy to do, and you could do it very lazily, leave it in the fridge day before, no problem, no sweat. Just add in the garnish at the last minute. What are we saying over there? Kato made bangers and mash, American version, thought it was delicious. What sausages did you use? Pork, apple, beef, lamb, vegetarian? Always interested to know. Ganja time, you're asking about the spoon? Just licked it, sue me. My kitchen. Right. Piping bag there full of cream. Always get the edges a bit dirty, but excuse me. Right, pop that to one side. I thought I got two out. Changed my mind. Mr. Marco would like the custard in here too. Italian pork sausages. So like a fennel, perhaps mild chilli going on in those Italian sausages. I like an Italian sausage. Plenty of fennel. Pork and fennel, it's just one of those flavours, isn't it? Pork and fennel on a pizza, even better with some greens, maybe kale or spinach or, what do you call it, broccoli rabe on a pizza. Whoa. I've had dinner and that makes me feel good. Do I have it? Oh, I used a whisk, didn't I? That's why I can't find a spatula for this. Remember our luminous yellow custard from earlier, guys? It's set quite firmly now, but it breaks up. Daniel looks good so far. Daniel been eating anything good today? Eating at home? Take out? Out for lunch? Where must you be? Sort of mid-afternoon for you? Just dollop that into my piping bag. Ooh. You don't, of course, if you're doing this yourself, you don't have to pipe it. This is just Marco being Marco. You just dollop it into a glass or other container and then just tap it on the floor or the counter and it will just all settle. But anyway, this is what Marco wants, so this is what we're doing. Yes, yes. Got a little treat for you in a minute as well. Little product from Marco, which we're going to try out live on air. Had some eggplant pasta for lunch. Very nice. I had a tomato pasta for dinner actually, tomato based, quite simple. Because I knew I was having quite a dessert coming up, so I kept dinner quite simple. So we've got our custard in a bag there. And push it down to the end, and in a minute I'll snip off the end of that bag, but I did it before for the cream one. I have no idea why I did that. For those of you who haven't been here since the beginning, We are making this Wally Ladd sherry trifle. Cornelius, where's your glass? Well, it's bring 'em by, BYO. I think we've got all the components ready now, and it is an assembly job, except I wasn't paying attention placing my order. And one of the garnishes, 2 garnishes, we've got almonds, flaked almonds, very standard. And then it calls for pistachios, and like an idiot, I bought them with the shell on. So another tedious job for a Saturday night. You're going to have to watch me shell a few pistachios. I don't do this very often. Let's get another little bowl. Slump says that trifle looks delicious. It sure does. So one thing about that essentially Marco book is the photography is excellent, really good. It's a really good quality book. Those of you that haven't caught up yet, I released a new video today, just this afternoon, my time, where I go over all of Marco's books, including this new, to me, essentially Marco book. House of Oz is making san choy bao for lunch today. I have no idea what that is. Please elaborate for this dumb Englishman. What is a san choy bao? Is that Thai, I guess? Didn't even have a nut in that one. Is that Chinese? Exactly. Is it Chinese? Is it Thai? I'm not sure. I'm ignorant of the name san choy bao. If you miss any part of this stream, by the way, the whole thing gets uploaded to the YouTube channel afterwards, so pretty much instantly. So if you want to go back and watch it, watch a man. What is that? Oh, we've got a raid. Aye, aye, aye. I can't quite read. There's loads of people coming in. Wow, thank you so much for raiding. Thank you so much for coming in. If you are over on Twitch, we've got a lot of YouTubers, but finally we've got a load of people from Twitch coming in. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? I can't even read all the messages. It's going, there's so many followers. You'll excuse me if I don't catch up with them all so quickly. I wasn't expecting this. I'm just pootering away to myself. There's loads going on. All of a sudden, it's got insane. Oh my God. Raiders, thank you. I didn't even catch the name of the person who did the raid. It just scrolled off screen. House of Oz, Chinese dish served in lettuce leaf cups. Oh my God, thank you so much for coming. Let me introduce myself properly. So I'm Gary Big Spud from the UK, from a little corner of England called Essex, and I do lots of stuff around celebrity chefs. I'm doing a lot of stuff on Marco Pierre White at the moment. And we are making a trifle. Trifle is a layered dessert. Trifle Wally Ladd. Again, welcome in all the raiders and party. I literally cannot keep up. Mrs. Handy, thank you so much for catching me up. I just was totally caught off guard. And yeah. You are blowing up my screen, guys. Thank you so much. So many followers. Oh my God. Mrs. Handy, you've got so many good people in your tribe. I'm saying she. I'm making an assumption now. I hope that's not a bad assumption. What were you doing? Well, I don't have enough free hands to check what your stream was doing. What were you doing this evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world? Daniel says, a man of the people. Yes, he shells pistachio, one shell at a time. Someone's going to tell me that there's some amazing gadget they can use to do this. I won't need that many more. Then we can actually do something interesting. Again, Mrs. Handy, if you need to raid and run, you've got life stuff you need to do, you need to make dinner, go to sleep, whatever you do, sort out family, go for it, that's no problem. Thank you for bringing your party here tonight. He's bound to burn something, gandering at the live chat. Thankfully, everything is turned off. All the cooking, the hot stuff, all happened earlier. We are now entering cold dessert. I think we're going to do like 3 or 4 more. because this is just a garnish for 3 servings, so we don't need a great deal going on. Oh, that was exciting, wasn't it? That was exciting. And this is where YouTube is definitely missing a trick. Thank you, Mrs. Handy's Kitchen. You come from one of the best communities. We're mostly gamers from the UK. Well, welcome in. I also game. I don't Twitch and game and all that. I don't play enough interesting games for that. But have recently started streaming. Decided food and drink was my jam. We've done jam today. We've made we've used a black cherry jam and set it with alcohol. And that'll be coming up in my trifle later. So hello, Mrs. Handy's. When I've got free hands, which won't be till after the stream, I will check you out and I will give you a follow. Thank you again so much for bringing your party over here. As I was saying, this is the things I think YouTube is missing out on, is this kind of cross-creator community that you get on Twitch. With Twitch, you're able to do these sorts of things. Let's turn that off a second. With Twitch, you're able to do these things where you can bring your channel to the next channel. As you're finishing, you can say, hey, let's go and see what these guys are doing. And it just spreads the love. It's good, you know. I've got new people here. Hopefully you'll stick around. I'm mostly active on YouTube and I'm just starting on Twitch, so it's really great to see so many new people here. House of Oz says, I love Michael Pierre White. He's an amazing chef. I really enjoy watching you replicate his dishes. You do a terrific job here. I try my best. Thank you very much, House of Oz. It's very kind of you. Lots of dings and beeps going on. Yes, this is all the Twitch stuff that I was just talking about. And I'm grateful, actually, that we've had real proper tests of it. And as I said, it's stuff YouTube needs to really catch up with. I'm just going to grab something from the windowsill. So I've just got a... pop that on. In fact, let's do it that way around. I've got a... This is the pestle, isn't it? I'm just going to lightly bash those pistachios up. These are just a topping, a garnish for our trifle. Fruity Muss says, hi Guns, hope you're okay. Oh, I know I regretted shelling those pistachios, but these are really fresh. I'm quite surprised. The pistachio fragrance coming over from that is really nice, really nice. Often nuts from a supermarket can be quite dusty because they were picked a year ago. They've just sat in a warehouse waiting for their turn. I think that will do. These have got a really nice aroma. They're only Tesco's, which, again, those of you outside the UK, is the largest supermarket in the UK by some distance. And is where I get my shopping from. Not sponsored, but it is convenient. Every little helps, as they say. I've got a couple of things I want to put in the fridge. Excuse me one moment. Well, let's do that. Yeah, that was quite exhilarating, having all these friends come and join us. I think this calls for a celebration. Wait one there, I'm going to get a glass. No, I'm going to go over here, actually. The average Viking. Oh, don't do yourself down, mate. I'm sure you're a very impressive Viking. Thank you for following. So, to continue the Marco Pierre White theme, some PR types got in touch to send me something. So let me pop this on and we'll switch back to this. And that's a bottle of Mr. White's London Dry Gin. 40% vol. Enjoy the gin. It's deliciously good. That's the best impression you're going to see all day. Let's have a read. So yeah, I was sent this, which we're going to try in just a moment. I've had it for about a week and I've been waiting to be online. You're welcome, Viking. I distinctly remember the captivating smell of the juniper berries being distilled at the distillery on Wandsworth Bridge as I made my way to and from Harvey's in London. That's where Marco really made his name. The smell takes me back to memorable moments from my days spent in the capital all those years ago. Nowadays, I like nothing more than cooking for my family and inspiring people around me to be creative. This is the basis for Mr. White's Gin. This recipe is focused on the mantra of keeping things simple but doing them well. Enjoy the gin. It's deliciously good. Well, let's give it a try. Gonna need, it's wax tipped, so I'm gonna need to cut that off. I'm not the world's biggest drinker, but you know, Mrs. Spud and I, we do like a gin. I like this one. Can you see it? I don't know if it's legible with the light. It's Mermaid Gin. Ganja time, drink responsibly. No guarantees, but I'll do my best. The signature is forged. Could be. Could be. I don't mind. Mr. White's gin, now I'm jealous. Yeah, we'll find out. So yeah, this Mermaid Gin is made on the Isle of Wight. If you don't know, a very tiny little island off the south coast of the UK. Beautiful little place. And they specialise in these mermaid gins. If you look on the background of some of my videos, you can see these bottles knocking about. These are mermaid bottles. You can see that sort of scale effect. They actually sell these bottles, the bottles empty, on the Isle of Wight. You can buy them just for decoration. I've got loads of them, because me and Mrs. Spud like them. So, Mr. White's gin. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's just the collar. Thought it was going to fall apart then. It's very juniper forward, almost rosemary-like. And in fact, I need to get another one out for Mrs. Spud. Switching to gaming setup. Thank you very much. See you in a minute, Mrs. Handies. Look at this gorgeous bottle. I'm assuming you're talking about the mermaid one. Yeah. Any restaurant you go into the Isle of Wight, not any restaurant, but lots of them have these bottles in the middle of the table, often with water in. That'll catch you out once. And yeah, they just use them as water flagons so that you can have water. Yeah, very perfumed, you know, almost rosemary-like, I would say. I never drink mine neat. I'm just not my bag at all. So I'm going to get some ice. Oh, there's a ping. Who's done what? Chameleon zzz. Follow the channel. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is not an alcohol-based channel, I need to confess. This is a complete one-off. I was just sent some to try. Let's get a jigger so I don't end up pouring out a pint. Saturday night. I mean, there's not much to look at. It's ice in a glass and gin is notoriously not much to look at. Yeah, it's very herbal, I would say, is the phrase, herbal. I've got a feeling it's going to be quite a good gin. You're not complaining? Cheers. Cheers to you as well. Cheers. Very nice glasses, yes. I bought them as a Christmas present for Mrs. Spud. Now let's try it out. So before I say anything, I need to remind you, first of all, drink responsibly, but secondly, I was sent that gin complimentary to try. I've been asked to let you know that it's available at Sainsbury's in the UK, and it will be online very, very shortly as well. So what I'm going to say to that, it is very smooth. I'll drink out of Mrs. Spud's. Very smooth, but it's got lots of floral flavours. It's got kind of a juniper in it. It's got kind of, again, a rosemary taste. There's something kind of rose as well, like floral in there. Very decent, very decent. Again, I was sent that for free. You make up your own minds, but worth a try, I would say. You love the t-shirt, thank you very much. Not everybody gets it, but I don't have a recipe for hoisin crispy owl. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give this gin to Mrs. Spud. So I'm going to play the Be Right Back screen just for a few seconds while I go and do that. Back right with you. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, Daniel, is that really loud? I've got a concern that that's really loud, that particular piece of animation. In fairness, I would usually have gin with a tonic, but I think I needed to. Dangerously drinkable, dangerously drinkable. Right, I think it's assembly time, so let's get my trifle dishes. This is where I'm supposed to have got them out before the stream. I did not. So you can listen to me rummage in the cupboards. Wasn't that, just caught you off guard? Okay. It's hard to tell what the volume is going to be for the end user. I have dialed it down a bit, but yeah. So let's switch back up to this. Burp the gin away. Hope we're all doing, again, what I often ask people is what they've been eating today, being this is a food channel, so let me know, all my new friends, what you've been up to today, what have you been eating in particular. If you haven't been eating, what have you been up to? What will you be eating later? Is it takeaway day? Have you been cooking? Are you eating out? You're not bothering today. It's all good. Right, back to the recipe. Remember that? Pre-gin. Hot dogs and wedges, Chucky Bloodstone, living the dream. Nothing wrong with that. Although I'm a channel that tends to do all these fancy Michelin recipes, I love brown food. Nothing wrong with brown food or a beige dinner, beige buffet if you might prefer. Hot dogs and wedges, particularly for a Saturday. It's very Saturday food, isn't it? Right, let's get on with it. So I assume we are putting the jam first, it says. Jam first, well. That Marco, he's a rogue, isn't he? I've got a bit of cream on that, let's get rid of that. It'll ruin the look. Yeah, so we're going to layer up this dessert now, starting with the jam. Those of you that joined us a bit later, this is jam. It doesn't show up very nicely. I think I need another light on, 1 second. That's probably helped a bit. This is jam simmered down with a little bit of Marsala wine. Just to thicken it up a bit. I do own, because of course I do, a jam syringe. I should probably use that. Chuck all that in there. Mrs. Handy's Gaming, are you still there? You said you were switching to gaming setup. Does that mean you are stopping and then restreaming as games? That's interesting. I know another guy that does that, who I followed last week. It Means Sun. He was quite a lot of fun to follow. Some sponge fingers now. You always have the nice stuff, then use what we have to hand. A couple of sponge fingers in there. Thank you, Mrs. Handies. What coincidence, I just asked you a question. Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. I thought you were saying you do stream gaming. Right, I see what you're saying now. I'm sorry, I'm very hard of thinking. A bit more jam. I think I've got the proportions a little bit wrong, but it's all good. Excellent, there's the jam. With a couple of sponge fingers. We'll make that go the other way. There are so many recipes for trifle. In fact, if you know the dessert tiramisu, very Italian, tiramisu is a trifle by another name. As always with these things, some other culture has come up with it first. They always have. You join in with the community on their streams. I see. Very reciprocal. Great. I'm glad that you've got a great community over there. Jam, sponge fingers, jam, sponge fingers. Next, pipe a layer of custard on top of the jam. So, I need to trim the end off that. Piping skills. Libralonics. Ah, Libralonics. Everybody. I've picked over in Twitch land. Stop what you're doing. Go follow Libralonics now. If you like your Souls games particular, please. He calls himself a variety streamer, but he only plays Dark Souls. Lovely guy. Really helped me out a lot with all this streaming malarkey as well. So please go and follow Libralonics. Lovely guy. We are making a trifle. I can't quite fit it on screen. You caught me at the wrong time, mate. So I'm just piping some custard. There's not enough. There is not going to be enough for what I want. But you get the feeling of it. Yeah, Slumpcat, go for it. Lovely guy. Streams 3 times a week usually. He's currently streaming Hollow Knight, which I'm not watching because I'm also going to start a playthrough myself and I don't want to get myself spoiled. Now, I wish we had more custard, but we don't. Doesn't matter. I can show you now, Libralonics. I can show you it properly. I've got some hands free. It's called Wally Ladd, named after someone that Marco Pierre White worked with, I think. It's not clear whether he worked with him or not. Get my little offset dude. We're going to run him under a cold tap. And I'm just going to flatten it down with an offset spatula. And that's just going to make a nice base to form the layers on. If you like seeing lots of deaths, Libra go. Yes. I'm going to say something, and I hope he takes it in the manner to which I mean it, is that he's a normal gamer. He's not one of those weirdos who can just do everything deathless first try. He's the one of us, you know? And it's great to see the highs and the lows when he's playing a game. And as I said before, he helps me out so much with streaming, gives me loads of great ideas, advice when I don't know how something works, because I'm not very experienced at streaming, as you can all tell. So who we got? Kato says, no stock pot. Well, if you want to put that in yours, it's your choice, as the man says. Million says it looks nice. I think it's going to be pretty nice. Lola Cakes, mustard in a trifle. You don't see that very often. No. It's a nice, vivid French's burger mustard in here. Okay, I think that's enough smoothing for now. And I'm going to eat this bit on the end. Nobody saw that, so I'm all good. Now we're piping cream on. Again, I think I'm going to spatula it down afterwards. Oh, I know some of you guys have seen it. Libralonics, I came up with a BRB screen. I just want to show you this. I'm going to go BRB for a few seconds just to show you. There we go. I just wanted to show you that because we were talking about it and I wasn't concentrating. I've dropped that there. Never mind. Thank you, Libra. What have we got going in? You are a bit late. We are just over an hour in. So we are basically plating now. So we've got a layer of jam that's been blended with some Marsala wine. Sponge fingers also soaked in Marsala wine. I think that's enough. And we've got custard made with bird's custard and a layer of cream. So no jelly, which I know as a Midlander you've probably got opinions on. And yeah, so again I'm going to wet that. And that's going to enable me to smooth that over. I'm really gutted I blobbed that edge, but I'll make that my one. Any other chat? Bopping music, Slumpcat, yes. had you snapping your fingers. Anybody know where the music's from? It is from a game. Probably the game I've put the most hours into in my life. It also features on my startup screen now, and it's also my new outro music. Same game. Be a little bit of homework for you to figure out. You were late for a reason, Libby. You wanted Millie's cookies. She's got M&M's and Curly Wurly cookies. You know what? Mrs. Lib works very hard. I know she's on her summer holidays right now. And as a fellow person married to a teacher, I know that they work extremely hard. And when they want cookies, they get cookies. Bit of Brucey bonus cream there. Let me hoik one up to the screen properly. There we go. So again, jam, sponge, and there's 2 layers of that. Custard, cream. And I'm just going to add some garnishes. Back when we had the raid, you remember we were tackling the exciting grind of pistachios. What jam is it? It's Bon Mammon black cherry jam. Marker actually calls for Tiptree, which, if you don't know, Lib is just a few miles north of me. Bit of pistachio on there. We had a wonderful moment where people raided in from Twitch and I was shelling pistachios. They couldn't have come at a less exciting time. See, I think I've got half left. I didn't even need to do half of them. Idiot. Now for the almonds. Strawberry one, if you fancy. Mrs. Spud treated herself to the posh strawberry one. I'm going to go and get that out of the fridge actually. Last week. That is strawberry and wild strawberry conserve. Yeah. Very fruity. Very, very deep. Not sweet, sweet, just like packed with strawberry flavour. So we are approaching tasting time, guys. So if you've just tuned in, you have tuned in at the right minute. Oh, unless you like the whole assembly process. Oh, I think that needs more almonds. Let's go more almonds on that. The wild strawberry one, they sold that one cheaper at Sainsbury's. Okay. Yeah, so again, a school holidays treat. She had some this morning in a croissant. Right, let's switch about. Okay, so we've got our trifles here. Hopefully you can make out all the layers in there. The Wally Ladd trifle, named for the chef that was a friend of, it's not clear, Marco, some years ago. I've got 3 here, as you can see, all lined up. So I am legitimately going to use my BRB screen so I can hand off these 2 trifles to other people in the house. We'll be right back and we'll do a taste. So I'll be right with you. Okay, we are back. Could do with a nice fade on that. So, Catoes could do with a cherry on top. Yeah, it would be nice with a cherry on top. That's not what Marco asked for. Catoes off to the beach. Enjoy. Very jealous. Lib is not sure, but it's giving Streets of Rage vibes. Slump Cat is trying to figure out the music. Libradonix, is it the pause music? Slump Cat, ooh, it is Streets of Rage. Well, not in the John, I was just giving people their trifles. So it is Streets of Rage music. It's from Streets of Rage 2, the character select, which is why it's so mellow. Because it's just chilling out music. Streets of Rage 2, probably my favourite. When you asked me, Libradonix, getting very personal now, you asked me years ago, what would I take to a desert island? It would be probably Streets of Rage 4, because it's the best evolution of Streets of Rage 2. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. We're here for this Wally Ladd trifle. So we've got everything in there. Let's switch it up. Try and dig down. Get a bit of everything in there. Cream kind of dominates, but I promise you it's all in there. Madman, but I respect it. Mate, if you ever do Streets of Rage 4 elimination mode, it's like an infinite mode. It's great. It's fantastic. I've got to go again. It was so cream heavy. Well, clearly I don't hate it because I've gone back in, but the jam's still slightly warm, just slightly warm. What I should have done was hold those up like that, shouldn't I? Say, oh look, is it anything like that? Put that there. Yeah, thumbnail shot. Yeah, I can't be bothered with lives to do that. It's super tasty. It's all the things I've put in there, right? There's no alchemy that's gone on. We've got jam, we've got booze, we've got sponge fingers, we've got custard, we've got cream, nuts on top. So it's all those things, and that's where a trifle, an English trifle, really succeeds. Yeah, it's got all those delicious flavours. Daniel E says, pour yourself some more gin to wash it down. Again, those of you that missed it, we've been drinking Marco's gin as well. Because what else do you serve with Marco's trifle? Actually goes really well. Yeah, that sort of clean floral flavours combined with all that sweetness. It is very sweet. Trifles are supposed to be, right? Because we've got custard we added sugar to, we've got jam, we've got cream we added sugar to, and the sponge fingers are dusted in sugar. So there's lots of sweetness. You know, I wouldn't say it's one of your 5 a day, but it is super tasty. And I'm starting to think, I think it was Ganja Man who said it, put a cherry on top. Libra, hot take, not a fan of boozing puddings. I understand, it can be harsh, it can be really harsh. So, the recipe calls for sherry, Harvey's Bristol cream. But I would recommend, usually in desserts, I use this, which is Marsala, an Italian wine. It's kind of sherry adjacent, but it is quite sweet. So you don't get a lot of harshness. I use it in sweet and savoury cooking. It's very common that I will use that as a sauce to deglaze a pan if I've had pork particularly. It goes really nicely with pork. Deglazing a pan to get all the fondy, crumbly bits off the bottom, make a sauce. It's really good. And it's not super expensive. About £6 a bottle, something like that. So I get what you're saying, Libranix, but yeah, let's have a bit more. What a mess. Wow. So there we go. We've had a lovely bit of trifle. We've had a lovely bit of gin. It's been a nice evening. Slupcat says that looks so tasty. It does, you know, if you're in the mood for it, if you like a sweet, rich dessert, which I do, then it's the one. House of Oz looked delicious. Well done. Thank you very much. Well, where are we? We're about an hour and 20 in. Excellent. So, any other questions people want to ask about that before I start to shuffle off? What I will do is, I will lead a raid into those of you that are on Twitch. We talked earlier, I think we need to switch to here now. I talked earlier about YouTube really needs to up its game to compete with Twitch on the community aspects of streaming. And this is something it really needs to do. And as you might have seen earlier, Mrs. Handy came over, bless her, and brought her whole army in with her. And what a wild party we had. I'm going to attempt to do the same now for those of you on Twitch. A remarkable feat you did get the spot on the book. Well, I'm not going to put the book back on camera, so you'll never know. But no, I think I'm okay. Years of practice is what that is. So yes, I am going to say goodbye for now. I'm just leaning over to the powerhouse. Press a bunch of buttons. And for those of you on YouTube, thank you very much for joining. Great to see you. Hope to see you on the next one. And what I'm going to do is raid on over to another channel. If you are on Twitch, I'd love for you to hang around, and I'm going to bounce you over to another channel. I don't know who yet. I'm going to figure it out. Have a scroll through the other food and drink channels. Let's have a look. Thank you, Mrs. Handy. I will follow you afterwards, and I will find you on Twitch afterwards once I'm done. And with that, I will start to raid in, and I will see you all soon.